Have you ever looked at a company and just wondered, why did they take off? Why did they seem to defy gravity, rocketing past their competitors, while so many others just kind of flatline? Well, that's the exact question Jim Collins set out to answer in his legendary book, Good to Great. And today, we are going to unpack these surprising and honestly pretty counterintuitive principles his research team uncovered for making that leap from just being good to becoming truly, enduringly great. Right off the bat, Collins hits us with this powerful idea. Think about it for a second. When things are just good enough, where's the urgency? Where's the fire to push for something truly exceptional? That comfort, that goodness, it actually becomes a trap. It's what stops us from making the really tough calls and putting in the relentless, grinding effort that greatness actually demands.
So, this was the central mystery that drove Collins and his team. And I mean, they went deep. We're talking 5 years, digging through decades of data, hunting for a very specific kind of company. They were looking for companies that were just sort of average for at least 15 years, and then, seemingly out of nowhere, bam, they hit a transition point and became truly great for the next 15 years, absolutely crushing the stock market. So, what was the secret sauce? What did they find?
Well, the very first piece of the puzzle, and this was a huge surprise to the researchers, it had nothing to do with flashy tech or some brilliant new strategy. It all came down to the person leading the charge. But here's the twist. It wasn't the charismatic, larger-than-life CEO you see on magazine covers. Nope. It was a completely different breed of leader, someone they called a level 5. And this is the paradox at the very heart of a level 5 leader. It's this wild blend of two qualities you just wouldn't expect to find in the same person. On one hand, you have this deep personal humility. These folks are not boastful, they're quiet, they're reserved, almost shy sometimes. But you pair that with an absolutely ferocious professional will, an unstoppable, ironclad determination to do whatever it takes to make the company great. Darwin Smith is the perfect example of this. He was this quiet, unassuming guy who took over as CEO of Kimberly-Clark. The company was stuck in a dying industry, paper mills. So he makes this absolutely gut-wrenching decision, sell the mills, the very core of their business, and bet the entire farm on consumer goods. The media, Wall Street, they called him crazy, but his quiet resolve was just unshakable, and that one massive bet turned the company into a giant that went on to beat the titan of their industry, Procter & Gamble. And this window and the mirror idea is the perfect way to spot a level 5 leader in the wild. When things are going great, they look out the window. They give all the credit to the team, to good fortune, to anyone and everyone but themselves. But when things go south, they look straight in the mirror. No excuses, it's on them, they take full ownership. It's the complete opposite of the typical celebrity CEO's playbook. Okay, so you've got your level 5 leader in place. The next step is obviously to map out a brilliant strategy, right? Wrong. In fact, the research showed the exact opposite. Before you even think about what you're going to do, you first have to figure out who is going to do it. This bus metaphor is probably the most famous idea from the whole book, and the logic is just so simple but so profound. Instead of deciding on a destination and then trying to convince people to get on board, great leaders start by obsessing over one thing: getting the right people on the bus, and, just as importantly, getting the wrong people off the bus. Why? Because if you have the right team, a team built on character and talent, they'll help you figure out the absolute best place to go. And this really gets to the heart of it. When you get the who part right, everything else, the what and the how, gets infinitely simpler. You can stop worrying about all these complex management systems and motivation tricks, because the right people, they're self-motivated. They have this internal drive, this burning need to build something great. And that's way more powerful than any bonus structure you could ever come up with. All right, so you've got a level 5 leader at the wheel, and the right team is on the bus. Now it's finally time to figure out where you're going. But great companies don't have some complex, 100-page strategic plan. Nope, they have one simple, powerful, guiding idea. And Collins calls this the Hedgehog Concept. This whole idea comes from this famous old parable. You've got the fox, who's clever, right? He knows a little bit about everything, and he tries a million different tricks to catch the hedgehog. But the hedgehog, he knows one big thing: how to curl up into an impenetrable, spiky ball. And in the end, the hedgehog always wins. In business, good companies are often foxes. They're scattered, they're complex, they're chasing every shiny new object. Great companies, they learn to be hedgehogs. They find the one thing they are built to do, and they pursue it with a relentless, single-minded focus.
So how do you find that one big thing? Well, you find it at the intersection of these three simple but brutally honest questions. Number one, what can you truly be the best in the world at? Not just good at, but what can you dominate? Number two, what is the single metric that best drives your economic engine? And number three, what are your people deeply, genuinely passionate about? You see, any company can have one or two of these, but greatness is only found in that sweet spot where all three circles overlap. Okay, the last big piece of the puzzle explains how this all comes together. See, from the outside, these good to great transformations, they look like some dramatic overnight success story. But Collins found that from the inside, it felt totally different. It was a slow, deliberate process of just building momentum, a process he called the flywheel, and it has a dangerous evil twin, the doom loop. I want you to picture a massive 5,000-pound metal flywheel. Your job is to get it spinning. That first push, it barely moves. The second, maybe a little more. You just keep pushing, consistently in the same direction. And for a long, long time, it feels like nothing is happening. But then, you feel it. The momentum starts to build. The wheel gets easier to turn. And eventually, whoosh, breakthrough. The wheel's own weight is now working for you. That is the flywheel effect. The doom loop is the exact opposite, pushing frantically in one direction, then another, never building that crucial momentum, and just spiraling downward.
Werner Lambert is just a perfect, almost painful example of the doom loop in action. I mean, look at this. Every few years, a new CEO or a new fad would send them lurching in a completely different direction. From consumer products to healthcare, back to consumer products. They were always reacting, always looking for some magic bullet, instead of committing to one consistent, disciplined push. Their flywheel never even had a chance to make a single rotation.
And this is maybe the most powerful insight about the flywheel. The transformation is not one big heroic action. It's the cumulative effect of thousands of small, disciplined decisions all pushing in the same direction. And when people on the team start to actually feel the flywheel turning, when they see tangible results from all their hard work, that becomes the most powerful motivator on the planet. Success fuels more success.
So let's pull it all together and look at the whole framework. It's really this beautiful, logical progression. It all starts with disciplined people. That means getting your level 5 leader and getting the right team on the bus. That team then engages in disciplined thought, confronting the hard realities to find that simple, powerful hedgehog concept. And all of that leads to disciplined action, the relentless daily push on that flywheel, building momentum turn by turn by turn until breakthrough is inevitable. Each piece just builds on the last.
And you know, at the end of the day, this framework isn't just for Fortune 500 companies. It's really a question for all of us, right? In our teams, in our careers, even in our personal lives. So the final question I want to leave you with is this. Are you pushing a flywheel? Are your efforts compounding day after day in one consistent direction? Or are you stuck in a doom loop, lurching from one thing to the next, never building any real momentum? Answering that question honestly, well, that might just be the key to unlocking your own leap from good to